as an apartment manager and owner, one of the things you absolutely don't want to get is a phone call saying, I've got water coming in my apartment. Well, that's just what happened tonight. It's a Saturday, usually on the weekends. And so I got a phone call saying we had water running down the wall, as you can clearly see. And up in the wall there, it's because we have a pipe that is a 3-inch cast iron pipe that has a crack that is running down the length of the pipe on the bottom side. These cast iron pipes are older. They're notorious for cracking when you absolutely do not want them to. So what we've done is we have stocked some 3-inch pipe sticks, PVC pipe, in our storage room so that we can have it on hand to fix problems like this. So it's good to keep varying sizes of pipe. Here's some 4-inch pipe. We got the 3-inch pipe there. In addition to having the 3-inch pipe, it's also good to have several of these couplings, these boots. It's a flexible coupling. This is a 3-inch coupling that goes over the end of that. And we've got several of these. You know, again, we've got the 4-inchers there too. We've got all different sizes and several sticks of the pipe because you never know when you're going to have a problem. Now, sure, we could call a plumber and that would be fine. They'd be here probably within a couple hours and they would fix it on the weekend of Christmas. And it would be hundreds of dollars, if not more. But what I'm going to attempt to do, and I'll show you, is I'm going to measure the amount of pipe that we're going to need. I'm going to cut that pipe a little bit shorter than what we need. And then using those boots, I'm going to boot that on to that piece. But I got to go up and get a Sawzall real quick so that I can cut the pipe. And we'll get started. Unfortunately for me, this pipe ruptured on the first floor, which is a good thing because it's not in anybody's particular unit. But the bad thing is I have to go to every other floor of the building on the stack all the way up all 6 floors and make sure that nobody's going to use their water for the next 30 minutes to an hour. Because if they do, I'm going to end up with a mouthful of someone's dish soap. So let's keep telling people to stop using their water and hope they listen. So we're going to go down here and get our measurement. Looks to be pretty much a 4-foot section of pipe, which is good. It's kind of an even number, so I like that. And again, this pipe is cracked all on the bottom of the pipe, allowing the water to run down, which has caused a problem. But there's no need to panic because we've got this section of pipe here. And this section of pipe, lucky for us, is just over 4 feet long. So we'll be cutting a couple inches off of that guy and getting it ready to go into place. When doing something like this using the boots, it's always a good idea to give yourself a little bit of extra space. So even though it was 48 inches, I'm going to go ahead and do a little shorter because those boots are pretty good size and I want to have enough play. So I'm going to go ahead and take off a 1/2 inch so I've got enough play up in there to get that up in there. $47.5. Before we remove the damaged piece, I've got this cut to the right length. I want to go ahead and get these pieces shoved on all the way back so that I can slide them over the other end. So we're going to slide that down there all the way, and then when I slide it up in place, I'll have to tap it back in place and get it locked in place. Also, really handy to have if you've got a multi-level building is a big trash can with no holes in it, because once we remove this pipe, if for some reason somebody starts using water, God help us, we've got to catch it in something. So I'm getting ready to slide this pipe up in there. We've got our pipe prepped here, the one that we're going to be using to replace. So I'm going to get it stuck up in here and get it ready to go, and then we'll remove the other one and then install this new one and cross our fingers and see what happens. Once you've secured the new pipe into place and beat this into position where it's secure, then you're going to tighten these nuts. You can either use these like a worm drive clamp. You can either use a flathead on these or use the appropriate size ratchet. These type of fittings are adjustable, so they're easier to get to. And just make sure that it's clamping onto the pipe on both ends, and then start tightening it down. In our particular case, this is what we use. This is a 5/16. So we'll tighten those down on there on both sides, and we'll check for leaks. But the tale of the rusted pipe continues. So we replaced this bad section, you can see, all the way over to here. And I was checking for leaks. Of course, our new section, it's pretty good. But this next section here, there's a small section that's hooked into a boot and where we tied into, and it's dripping right around that section. The bottom edge of it is also degraded. I should have caught that the first time. I wouldn't have had a piece long enough to do the whole thing, so I still got to boot it anyway. But it seems to, this piece here seems to have been replaced at some point, and I see that there's already been some pieces replaced here at some point. So I think we can just tap in a 8 or 9 inch section there and give that a go. Sometimes you just don't know until you get into it. These older buildings, sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it takes a little more work, but you can do it yourself. You just have to have the right parts, and I'm not giving up yet. So let's cut another piece of pipe and fix that last section and keep looking. Wow, look at that. Look at that. That was rust holding hands right there. Wow, I loosened that up and that just spread right across. That was nothing but rust holding hands. I guess in the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's not always glamorous, being an apartment owner, being someone that looks after other people's houses. Whether you've got 10 units or 110 units, you're always going to have problems. There's no question. So it's how you deal with those problems that determine how successful you're going to be. If you're just getting started, yeah, I could have called a plumber. Hey, look at that, dirty. I just got done dealing with a sewer line, had to splice in 2 separate pieces, deal with 6 different residents, and get it swapped out, and took a couple hours to do. But it didn't cost me but just the amount of materials. It was, a couple small sections of PVC pipe and some boots, and that was it. If I would have hired that done, it would have been hundreds of dollars to have somebody come out on a holiday weekend in the evening, after hours, to do that. And so you absolutely have to be able to do the dirty jobs that nobody else wants to do, whether it's scooping up trash, scooping up dog poop, or fixing sewer lines. If you're not willing to do that stuff yourself, just be aware you're paying somebody else to do it, and that's just going to hinder how far you can go in the business. So this is just a great example. I'm not glad it happened. Obviously, I would rather be home with my family watching Netflix. But I'm glad that you got to come along with me and see some of the things so it's not all just fun and games here. These are actual problems that we have to deal with on a daily basis. And I'm glad you got to stick around and watch one with us.